Hi everyone, it's Diana Rankin coming to you with this week's psychic messages for our spirits, our souls, our human lives, and we'll see if there's a prediction or two. The week is May 14th to the 20th. That's what I want to do. I just want to take a big breath and sigh. But sigh is not the word or the phrase for this week. But we do have one word that's going to be extremely important for everybody listening, and that word is balance. B-A-L-A-N-C-E. Balance, my friends. I cannot stress this strongly enough that we must have balance in our lives. And I'm going to give you a few exercises to show you how to get that. Couple of the world's falling apart, and it's not really falling apart literally, but it feels like it in many ways, and people are totally stressed. I mean, it's like, oh my god, what's going on here in the US? Our politics are crazy. That's the only word I have for it, and I know that's affecting people worldwide because of the power of the US, the greatness of the US. Well, you know, the ancient ones, and I think I've said this before, the ancient ones tell us now is the time when all the secrets will come out. So those who have hidden secrets, they're going to come out, and they're going to try to keep them from coming out. So, you know, speak up if it's appropriate for you, but keep it in balance. What do I mean by balance? Well, in our because there's also so much grief going on in the world, and so in our personal lives, in our business lives, our professional lives, in our human lives, if we start losing balance, what happens is we fall into the pit, and I don't want you falling into the pit. Or we get up here so high that we're just out of touch with what's going on in the world around us. So neither is good. We want a balance of the lows and the highs. Now, what I do want, because we have to be practical, you know, there have been times in my life, and I've said this before, numbers are difficult for me because I see numbers differently than, say, an accountant sees numbers. And my mother, by the way, was an accountant. So, and I have 4 nieces, 3 of whom are accountants. So, and my brother does math problems in his head to clear his head, or he did when we were kids. So I'm just the oddball out in my family, and I see the energy of numbers rather than the actual 2 plus 2 equals 4. I need a calculator to help me out there. Anyway, we need balance because we do need to be able to do our taxes when the time is right, but we also want to be able to soar into our spiritual self when the time is right. And just as I said that, I noticed a reflection. There's a picture that hangs across from me, and it's framed so it has a glass in it, and I just noticed one of the little wrens outside of the window. As I said soar, one of the little wrens went flying by. You might even hear them outside. I have a couple of wren houses right outside my office window here, and I can hear them singing as they build their nest, and chirping away, and their beautiful songs as they sing to the eggs that they're laying, and then the babies that will be born. So balance. Let's get back to balance. I promised you some exercises. So what are some of those exercises? Well, anything where you cross over. The right brain is our creative brain, and the left brain is our more logical brain. And we think of this as right brain, left brain, feminine energy, and masculine energy. But it crosses over in the body. So we can use anything that crosses our bodies. Just, you know, exercises like this. This will help us balance. We can do this in my Awakening to Deeper Intuition workshop. When I hold that, we do balancing exercises. We do exercises also to help ground us. But one of the things we do, and you have to stand up to do this, but you take right hand and cross the left leg over in front of the body, and then behind it, and just tap your foot with your right hand. Tap your foot onto the left leg, and then you do the opposite. you're crossing the left or the right leg, the left hand and the right leg, and you're crossing it in front, the leg in front and behind the body, and just tapping it with that hand. But anything that crosses over like this, if you find that you're kind of drifting out into the ethers and you need to ground yourself, do add up a column of numbers. Do any left brain activity. Stand on your right leg. That is, remember, it crosses over in the body. So if you just stand on the right leg, that will help you with left brain activities. The same is true if you need more creative power, stand on the left leg and hold the right leg up in the air a few inches. Do things with, if you want more creativity, do things with the left hand, the left arm. Brush your teeth. If you're right-handed, brush your teeth with your left hand, that type of thing. That's balance. Left-handed people, especially, I'm not sure if this is worldwide, I think it is, but in the US especially, up until maybe 20, 25 years ago, people who were left-handed were taught to be right-handed, but they had that left brain dominant. We've come to accept that, thank God. Maybe, I don't know how many years ago that was accepted, but people who are left-hand dominant actually have more creative powers to them. They're more balanced. They have more problem-solving skills available to them because they live in a right brain world, so they've had to do a lot of crossing over, more so than those of us who are right brain dominant. So this is about balance this week. Some other things you can do, those are physical things you can do. Some of the mental exercises I'm going to ask you to do this week is, if you're on social media, as I am, and you want to put out a political post, that's fine. Do so with love. Once you put out that political post, you might balance, especially if it's if there's anger in the post, or if it's something like is going on in our system that is upsetting to you, then balance it with something that is more pleasing. Tell what's right in the world, not just what's wrong. If we're always telling what's wrong, we get caught in that pit of what's wrong. So we have to have that balance. Yes, we need to point out what's wrong so we can correct it, but we also need to, let's point out what's right in the world, because there's a lot of what's right in the world. So work for balance this week. Let's see what Philip has to say for us. For those of you who have not been with me before, thank you for coming. For those of you who come to these videos every week, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate. And I appreciate your comments. I haven't had time this past week to get to them. We had family in from out of town, and we had a beautiful family wedding last weekend. And so I've been busy trying to catch up with myself, and lost a few days there. So anyway, I will get to your comments, and thank you. I appreciate your comments. This is a book that my spirit guide, Philip, gave me, and every page has different wisdom on it. And so what we do is we just flip through until the thumb kind of stops us. You can use any finger, or you can till you hear stop in your ear. And since every page is something different, we think left page or right page. So what are you thinking? Left page or right page? I'll tell you what I've heard. I've heard left. So we open and we say, without a receiver, there is no giver. But I'm also going to, in this case, sometimes I do this, I'm going to read the right because I think it's important. But I want to talk about without the receiver, there is no giver. I want to mention that first. What does that mean? Without the receiver, there is no giver. One of the things that many of you are going to have to balance this week is you're going to have to learn how to receive. You know, those of us who are deeply sensitive to the world, and if you're listening to this, most likely you are highly intuitive, you are empathetic to the world, you do take in the world into your heart. And so what I want you to be able to do is not always be the giver, but look for that balance of receiving. Some of you have heard me say the breath out is the giving, the breath in is the receiving. And if we're always giving out and never taking in, we can't exist. So balance in your world is going to be very, very important this week. because without the receiver, there is no giver. So many of us, our mothers said to us, taught us to say when someone gives us a gift, oh, you shouldn't have. Well, love you mothers, but you were wrong. And happy Mother's Day, by the way, to all the mothers. That will happen on the day that this is actually released, or the Sunday that this is released. Um, so happy Mother's Day, and thank you to all the mothers out there. Thank you. But remember, mothers, receive graciously. Don't just receive and say, oh, you shouldn't have. Say, thank you. I appreciate this gift you're giving me. Be the gracious receiver, and then the giver feels pretty good about giving. Let me just read the right. I glanced at that, and I'm not sure what it says, but it just seemed like it needed to be read. Okay, I think it does. Others interact with you from the level in which they express life. If you live on a different level, will you not then interact from a different perspective? I'm going to read that one more time. Others interact with you from the level in which they express life. If you live on a different level, will you not then interact from a different perspective? Those are two big messages. Without a receiver, there is no giver. And remember, we're all interacting in life from the level where we live. So my friends, someone you're talking to may live at a different level. We're not saying higher or lower, it's just different. And so it gives us an opportunity to be a little more compassionate. But it also means for those of us who are holding that love in the world, who are holding that energy to help heal our world and heal the ills of the world, those of us who are holding love and creating a pattern for others to move into. This week, we will have plenty of opportunity, my friends, to practice balance. Please do so. And you know, I'm always going to say, practice love. Be the love in the world that you want to see in your life, that you want to see in the world. Be the love, my friends. Until we meet again, thank you so much for being with me today. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you. Balance. I love you. I love you. I love you.